Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our program will begin momentarily. If you would please be seated at your lunch table, our program will begin in just a moment. Kindly remember to silence your mobile devices. Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please find your seats. Our program is about to begin. If you would please be seated at your lunch tables, our program will begin momentarily. As a courtesy to others, please remember to silence your phones and mobile devices. Thank you. Please welcome Sarah Vetter.
Hello. Welcome to the 2019 San Francisco Pachamama Alliance Annual Luncheon. Woo! Thank you so much for coming out today and being with us. We just absolutely appreciate that you took your time, the day, and to be with us. Also, welcome to everybody online and streaming online from all over the world. Welcome to you as well. We're so glad you're out there behind your computers. And a special gratitude for all of you that are Virgin Pachamama Alliance Lunchy attendees. New Pacha Lunchy attendees. Will you raise your hand? Excellent! All right. I love that. Well, our intention is to deliver a inspiring, powerful, moving program that will really open your eyes to the new possibilities that we're facing for our future and these challenges. So we're going to have an incredible program. So now, I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge the people that invited you here, our best ever, unbelievable, awesome table captains. Now, our table captains, they're the best. They're the best table hosts ever. So they invited you here. They totally stand for our mission and vision. They love us. They love you. They trust us. And honestly, I would be standing here talking to tables if it weren't for our phenomenal table captains. So table captains, stand up. Woo! The best. And I also want to give thanks to our hundreds of volunteers. This warehouse was an empty warehouse 24 hours ago, and then it's transformed in this unbelievable, magnificent space. So huge gratitude to the hundreds of volunteers that helped put this all together. We couldn't do it without them either. And then, of course, I want to thank our sponsors who are up on the screen. And they've helped underwrite this program. Huge gratitude for their support. Yeah. So now I would like to invite our Global Engagement Director, my colleague, my friend, Maisa Arias, to join us. Look awesome.
Hello, everyone. It's my honor to be here today. I've spent the last 7 years visiting our amazing Pachamama Alliance communities all around the world. Some of them are here, some of them are joining us via the online streaming. To all of you, thank you. Thank you for making this truly a global gathering and a global community. In these last 7 years, I would have never thought that the work of Pachamama Alliance could feel more imperative than it does today. However, 2 months ago, I gave birth to my first child. And the life of my son has absolutely changed everything for me, and I see the profound need for this work today. And I know as I stand here today that my child will grow up to know that all of us here today took good action to inherit him and all of our children a good world. So thank you. Now the word Pachamama, it comes from the Quechua language of the Andes, and it refers to our sacred mother of the universe, the earth, the sky, all space, and all time. Now, Pachamama Alliance, the organization, it's an alliance between indigenous peoples of the sacred headwaters of the Amazon and committed people like yourselves to bring forth a thriving, just, and sustainable future for all. And now, I'd like to invite you all on a sound journey to the rainforest. And as we prepare for that, I invite you to let go of everything that it took for you to get here, the parking, the traffic, your jobs, anything. Let's just be fully present now. So please, if you're comfortable with this, close your eyes or lower your eyes and take a moment to visit the rainforest. our ancestors, and especially the Ohlone people on whose land we are standing now, to guide us today, to guide our life. Thank you. Please open your eyes and welcome back. And now, we're gonna honor a Pachamama Alliance tradition, the tying of the bracelets. They're hand-woven in Ecuador. Your table captains are gonna pass out the bracelets, and you may notice that you wanna tie them on yourself, but I'll say just hold on to it for a moment. These bracelets are a reminder of the partnership we have with indigenous peoples, as well as our interconnectedness with all of life. So now, with your bracelet in hand, please turn to the person next to you and ask them to tie it on you. And we're doing this as a reminder that we don't have to do anything alone. The work that's required of us today, we don't need to do it alone. Let's do it in community. And as you tie this bracelet on this other person, please bless them, bless their presence, their humanity, and the choice they've made to be here today. May these bracelets be a reminder of the partnership that we can enter with one another. Thank you. And now we bless the beautiful meal that we're about to share. And we'll be back in a few moments. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens for an important message about the work of the Pachamama Alliance.
These are the Achuar people, an ancient dream culture, still living in harmony with their ancestral land. Nearly 5 million acres of pristine tropical rainforest in Ecuador and Peru.
Our people lived here undisturbed for thousands of years. Then our elders and shaman began to receive visions from our ancestors, warning that a menace was coming toward our people. We soon saw that danger, the destruction brought by oil companies to our neighbors to the north. It is Achuar tradition that we do not run from danger, but go towards it. So we reached out to seek support from people in the outside world.
In 1995, a call issued forth from the heart of the natural world that was heard thousands of miles away by a small group of people in the modern world. That summer, in a remote village in the rainforest, these two worlds came together, and the Pachamama Alliance was born.
Although we were called by the elders and shamans of the Achuar, something deeper had called us there, and we realized it was the spirit of life itself, the spirit of Mother Earth, what the indigenous people call Pachamama.
The Achuar appreciated that the Pachamama Alliance was working shoulder to shoulder with them to protect their land and culture. But they knew that this work in the rainforest was not enough.
From the very beginning, we recognized that the real threats to our land came not from the oil companies, but from the outside world itself. It is the modern world's dream of always wanting more and more that is causing the destruction of the forests. So we told our partners that to protect our lands permanently, they would need to work in their part of the world as well, and change the dream that is threatening the rainforest and the future of all life.
And so the Pachamama Alliance boldly committed itself to a twofold mission: to preserve the land and culture of the Amazon rainforest and to change the dream of the modern world.
Please welcome Pachamama Alliance co-founders John Perkins and Lynn Twist.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We're so glad you're here. You know, the Pachamama Alliance, as it said in the little video, came from a call that came from the heart of the world, right in the equator, from the Achuar people. And this whole thing, what you're experiencing here today, is a response to that call. And as we said in the video, it's a response to the spirit of life, which is calling all of us now. And we think it's why you're here today. You, too, have heard the call from the spirit of life. We're living in times as a human community that are extremely challenging, and we need each other more than ever. We need to come together. We need to stay connected. We need to know about each other, and we need to stay connected to all forms of life. And as we spend more and more time on the internet, on our screens, it's possible that we're becoming more and more physically isolated
from one another, physically isolated. So touch the person next to you. You're in real time right here. Feel their energy, feel their love. This is real. I think the more digital we get, perhaps the more digital we get, the more ritual we need. This annual event, this luncheon, is an annual ritual. It's a ritual, a gathering of people who love life, who love this world, who love each other, who love the Pachamama Alliance. And if you're new, you're here because they love you. They are really, really glad you came and want you to be embraced by this community. They're so grateful that you showed up, and so are we.
We're going to dive into the Pachamama Alliance now, our work in the rainforests and around the globe to change the dream of the modern world. When Lynn, Bill, and I first co-founded this organization back 23 years ago, we had no idea where it was going to go or how powerful it was going to become. In the beginning, we thought we were working with just one indigenous nation, the Achuar you just saw, to help them preserve their rainforest, their territory, from the terrible destruction that had befallen their neighbors, their indigenous neighbors in northern Ecuador. Today, we're collaborating with 20 indigenous groups in Ecuador and Peru to save a much larger territory, the entire area. Thank you. Our work, our commitment, your commitments have never been more important. The oil companies, the mining companies are building roads, pipelines, and labor camps that are destroying vast areas of the Amazon and increasingly threatening the sacred headwaters that are absolutely vital to life on this planet as we know it. Fortunately, the Pachamama Alliance has become a global ecosystem of committed and conscious people in more than 80 countries who are determined to shift the destructive patterns of modern society, of our modern cultures. As I travel around the world speaking at venues in many different countries that range from a business school in China to a music festival in the Czech Republic, and from a group of a summit of economic advisors in Russia to conscious capitalists in the United States, everywhere I go, there are Pachamama people who are dedicated and who are working and organizing to reverse global warming, to create more just societies, and to honor the spiritual focus of indigenous people around the world, and perhaps more than anything else, to make sure that we live more and more in harmony with the natural world and with each other. And so a seed was planted in the Amazon 23 years ago. That seed has taken root, and now it's spread across the entire planet. I am totally blown away by the progress and the power of this organization, this alliance. I'm totally blown away by all of you being here, by your commitment. Totally blown away. It's absolutely incredible. You're incredible. We're all incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Incredible.
So in the next 60 minutes, we promise to open your mind, to touch your heart, to lift your spirit, to nourish your soul, and to have you relook at who you are in your relationship with the world, and to learn maybe newly what's actually going on in this world and how you can participate, what role is yours to play. It's our gift to awaken you once more to the opportunity to participate and move into inspired
committed action at a time where we need it more than ever. The mission of the Pachamama Alliance is to empower the indigenous people of the sacred headwaters of the Amazon rainforest, and from the lessons learned from that, bring forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet. Let me say that again. To bring forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet. It's It's a big mission, it's a bold mission, and it's worthy of the times we're living in. And so we invite you to learn how we're doing that. How do we begin? What's our plan? Let's look at the work in the Amazon rainforest. Thank you.
The Amazon rainforest, often called the lungs of the planet, is crucial to life on Earth. It stabilizes the global climate and is the world's largest source of fresh water. Here, at the sacred headwaters of the Amazon, is the Earth's most biodiverse environment, home to the greatest celebration of the diversity of life. This is where the Pachamama Alliance has worked for over 20 years. Its partnership with the indigenous peoples of the area has become a powerful force for protecting this region from oil development and other extractive industries. And it has strengthened the indigenous people's determination to be in charge of their own future. With support from the Pachamama Alliance, they have organized alliances and federations, taken to the streets in protest, and worked in the halls of government, making their voices heard at the national and international levels. They have developed sustainable economic alternatives and improved health practices in their communities. And indigenous women have stepped into leadership roles at all levels. While the pace of rainforest destruction in other regions of the Amazon has been accelerating, here in southeastern Ecuador, the forest remains pristine and its people are thriving. The indigenous movement in this region is recognized as one of the most effective in all of Latin America, and their vision is to place this critically important region into permanent protection, not only for the benefit of those who live there, but for the entire world.
Please welcome Pachamama Alliance co-founder and CEO, Bill Twist.
Hello. No, just... You're just doing that because you did it for John and Lynn. So, hello. I'm going to start with some basic background information about Pachamama Alliance, and this is primarily for all of those here who are new. So we're a public nonprofit. We were founded in 1996. We're headquartered here in San Francisco. We have a team of 24 people working here. Later in the program, you're going to hear about our educational programs. And all of those programs are directed, developed by the team here, although they're supported by hundreds and hundreds of volunteers around the world. The work that we do with indigenous groups in the Amazon is carried out through a nonprofit organization we created in Ecuador in 1997. And it's called Fundación Pachamama, and it's headquartered in Quito, the capital of the country. And it has a team of about a dozen Ecuadorian biologists, lawyers, development workers, and indigenous people. Pachamama's annual budget is about $5 million. And to orient everyone also geographically, the Achuar territory where we began is approximately 2 million, a little less than 2 million acres of territory in the southeastern region of Ecuador, in one of the most verdant rainforest regions of the country. And this region is also home to at least 4 more indigenous groups that we've worked with over the years. Ecuador is a really special place. It's on the equator, and although it contains less than 2% of the Amazon's total area, it contains the highest levels of biodiversity in the entire Amazon basin. And the country is saturated with the Quechua, indigenous Quechua language and culture, and embedded in that culture is a deep respect for community and for nature. In 2008, Ecuador became the first nation in the world to put rights of nature into its constitution. Nature is a living being in that country. You know, and when it's becoming so clear that humanity must reestablish a relationship with nature and responsibility for nature, this region of the world has much to teach us, and so we're really fortunate that we were called there. When we first arrived in Achuar territory, their pristine lands were under threat of oil development plans from the government. And this map shows planned concessions in 1996 that were imposed right on top of this verdant area. The work that we then took on initially was supporting and strengthening the governing organization that the Achuar had created to help them defend their territories and to be their voice to the outside world. And that work over time spread in its potency, and actually it also spread to include all of the other indigenous neighbors of the Achuar in that territory. You know, that work is still the work that we do. It's still primary focus of our work in the region, and it's built a strong alliance of indigenous groups in that area that are united and strong. And that strategy of directly supporting indigenous organizations has proved to be extremely effective. That map that you saw, there's been a series, the government's had a series of oil maps like that over the years. But I like to say because of our work, but really the strength, the skill, and the commitment of the indigenous people, that territory is still absolutely untouched by oil development. And it's now widely acknowledged in conservation circles that working directly with indigenous people is the key strategy to protecting some of the most important bioregions still remaining on our planet. The day-to-day work with the Amazon, in the Amazon, with the indigenous people, and coordinating with other NGOs and working with the government ministries has been orchestrated for over 20 years now by one remarkable woman. Belen Paez has been the director of Fundación Pachamama almost since its beginning. And Belen is here with us today to fill us in on the current work in the Amazon. Please welcome Belen Paez. She wants this. Want that?
Thank you very much. I'm really inspired to see all of you here today. Fundación Pachamama's work is unique and diverse. And as Bill said, our focus on supporting the indigenous governing organizations and strengthening their capacities to defend their forests and the deal with the outside world. As an example of our support, we provide legal training so the indigenous partners can learn about their rights, and also we provide representation in local, national, and even in international courts. We have helped them to map their territories and to do titling their lands and territories. We have set up solar power communication networks in their vast territories. And we have provided their governing federations ongoing monthly funding to their basic operations. We also coordinate sustainable economic projects that bring financial support to the communities. Projects such as local agroforestry, fish farming, aquaculture, handicrafts, medicinal plants, and ecotourism. We support a number of base tourism projects in the Achuar and the Zapara territory. In particular, the renovation and remodeling of the Kapawi Eco Lodge, a place many of you have visited. One of our most important projects has been working with women to improve birthing practices and health conditions for mothers and newborn babies. We have trained hundreds of women, and nearly all the Achuar communities now have maternal health promoters available to them. Our project has been also been empowering women to find their voice and participate with the men in defending their territories. Women are now taking leadership positions in their governing organizations. This is a very important change. As you heard earlier, Ecuador has rights for nature in its constitution that came about from a project we initiated in 2007, and we are continuing spreading this idea around the world through the Global Alliance of the Rights of Nature. The deep relationships that we have built with our indigenous partners in Ecuador and Peru over these years has put Fundación Pachamama in a unique position to be one of the key players behind an important new initiative to protect one of the most critical rainforest regions on Earth. The territory is called the Sacred Headwaters of the Amazon. Here is the story.
The vast Amazon rainforest, larger than the United States, breathes in carbon dioxide and breathes out oxygen. Its billions of trees lift water vapor into the sky, forming massive flying rivers that bring rain to the entire continent and help regulate the Earth's climate. We have known for decades that this great forest is under attack. Oil drilling and mining pollutes rivers and poisons land, threatening the lives and livelihood of indigenous cultures. Vast swaths of forest have been cut down and burned to make way for cattle and farming. But recently, the world woke up to a frightening new dimension of the crisis. We watched with helplessness the accelerating destruction of a precious ecosystem, crucial to life on planet Earth. It seemed a metaphor for the future. We are burning down tomorrow. But here, in Ecuador and Peru, at the headwaters of the great Amazon River, where the forest is still pristine, something remarkable is happening. 20 indigenous nations have come together and are working with allies to form an unprecedented alliance committed to the permanent protection of one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. Through the Amazon Sacred Headwaters Initiative, they are calling for halting the expansion of extractive industries and making 74 million acres of rainforest a sanctuary for nature and for humanity. They envision continuing to live in harmony with nature while pursuing their livelihood in the forest and safeguarding the vital organs of the earth for all of life. They are calling for global partners to join them in this historic endeavor and have it serve as a new model for humanity's future, not only for safeguarding rainforests and keeping fossil fuels in the ground, but also for creating a mutually enhancing human-Earth relationship that is so vital to the future of all life on this planet.
We have been working on this initiative for nearly 3 years now, and Fundación Pachamama has been the coordinating organization for the on-the-ground, working with 20 indigenous nationalities in Ecuador and Peru. This has been an enormous effort because this territory is vast and is sometimes difficult to access. We have been very successful in creating an international awareness and support for the Sacred Headwaters initiative over the past 2 years, and also in working with indigenous nations on their own vision on the territories, what they call the life plans. Now we are working to prepare an ecological development plan for the Sacred Headwaters region that will promote nature-based economy that draws on the keep knowledge of the standing forest and of the flowing rivers. We have begun assembling an international teams of experts to advise and work with indigenous people in the development of this plan. The team of experts will be also responsible for a long-term funding strategy, which would include removing subsidies and incentives that encourage oil and mining and other ecological destruction. Our goal now and for 2020, we really want the governments of Peru and Ecuador come on board as members of the Sacred Headwaters team, and then to being implemented the plan and create public policies that upgrade forests and forest restoration and reforestation. An inspired part of this initiative is the collaboration with our indigenous partners, yes, but also with NGOs, the academic sector, other social sectors. And Amazon Watch has been our partner in this from the beginning. And now Stan Earth from Canada has also joined as well. They are experts in international advocacy campaigns. And we have already organized a campaign to gather international support for the Sacred Headwaters. This project is going really well, and I'm just so happy and thrilled and inspired to be part of something that I really know that is making a big difference. And now I have the honor to introduce two great colleagues and allies from the rainforest, from the Sacred Headwater region, Narcisa Magenta and Manario Shiwa. Please welcome them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Narcisa has been one of my best friends, soulmate, for over 20 years now, and she has been involved with our women's health program since it began, and now she's the director. She's one of the model of the indigenous women in the Amazon. And Manario Shiwa is a shaman and a leader for his people, and he has become an important ambassador of the Sacred Headwaters, and for years has traveled and done ceremonies and healing work for the people around the world. Yeah. They are now representing their people, and it's because of their reason they are going to speak in their native languages, Narcisa in Shuar and Manario in Quechua. Thank you.
Narcisa.
Kaer, Umar, Autirmin, Shiram Nidim Dusan, Hutsawanamik Mahrume, Vika Shuar Numeche, Equatur Numia, Ayut Kamuyuvins, Amazonia Tananuyenge. 20 Musach Nangamaki, Fundación Pachamama, Takatan Nahanawar, Nisha, Takatan Kurak Nyamrumakenja Tusar, Nahani Nyamde, Vishanui Pachingemehe. 19 ubi Takakuasan, Nue Tietnak, Visha Unui Meran, Iturkisha, Viñairut Kamuruyengmi, Ukunman and Wish Viña Chirsha Shiram Puhusarmi, Tusanuna, Yengin Vumiahe. Ubi Nangama Kiwemde, Alianza Pachamama Tamo, Ikiama Nukurin, Nahana, Nua Inya Nao, Inya Uchichirisha, Shira Makinyawar, Ni Nungen Puhusar, Nungena Kaskmatkarat, Tamati Nui Bisha Pachingen, Nahangin Kiaka Kibumiahe. Ikiama Nukuringa, Inya Nukuri, Shiram Puhusar, Inya Nukurisha, Ni Chichamusha, Arandukma, Arat Tusar Nahana Muiti. Ikiama Nukuringa, Nuna Hundri Ete Yamaika, Inya Uchirisha, Maturak Wenget Nuit, Akini Nyam te Histinyan, Nuna Yemui. Ika Nuatika, Inya Ikemri Nyanano, inya yahasmori iruna naosha ike surimiakur puhusar shiram wenyuiti. Nua iruna nyauka inya uchirisha shiram akinya warat inya kun mashatum shabinirum isha tiur takat huai. Nusha himi taram tusanuna huahrume. Turaensang yamaya huna. Yuming sata sawakirinya he. Warukamdi. Alianza Pachamama tamon. Nunasha wararinya he. Warukaya. Inya puhusar. Incha shira minyambrukar. Kakar mamasar. Yem gibuina asar mati. Wararinya he. Nunatinya. Atumnya shira mararsan. Mah yamaya huna. Maketitinya. Yumingsan maketetahe.
Ñukamani Sapararuna, Ecuador, Llactamanda. Ñukanchi sachagunata kuirashkanchi, sumakta, ñukanchi causa y sumakta ringawa nisha, kay Ecuador, Perú, Llactaybi. Ñukata, ñukayaya yachachiwashka, ñuka ichillashkamanda. Sasisha yachashkani. Pichika watata charishkamanda hasta rukuyanagama. Pay wañushkaybi, shuk pishku paktamuara, shuk ruyak pishku, chimi ñuka yachayta paskachiwara, chiwan mi ñuka kunangama kawsashkani. Ñuka yaya kunasha sakiwashka, kayache ama chingaringawa nisha, apasharingawa ñawpagma, kay sachagunata kuirangawa nishami kayachaywan sakiwashka. Kay Amazonas yakumagunaybi sinji yachay tiyan, tukui yachay tiyan. Shiraygumi kay yakumagunata kuirananchi. Kay awama, indi, quilla, kuillurguna, paygunan tuparishami ñukanchi sumakta muskunchi. Chayraygumi imata kay sachay virausha, sumakta riparasha, rikusha, rananchi ñukanchi kawsay, sumakta ñawpagma ringawa. Kay Brasil, Bolivia llaqtaguna, sachata rupachingawa kallarishkauna, ñukanchi kawsayta waglichinga kallarishkauna. Chay manali ñukanchibi rikurin. Payguna, ñukanchi kawsayta wayrashina, tukuchisha, kay munduybi chingachinata munanguna. Chayraygu ñuka punda, ninata munani, yupaychani nisha, alianza Pachamamata, pay ñukanchi kawsayta, ñukanchi sachagunata, kuiranata yanapashkamanda. Chasallata kaybi payguna unguna. Kaymanda ñawpagma, sinji tukusha, sinji wangurisha, shayarinanchi ñukanchi kawsayta kishpichingawa. Witsaja. Gracias.
No. Gracias, señor. You know, it's a phenomenal, personal honor to work with them. Throughout the year, their groundedness and their deep spiritual connection is such a gift to me and to all of us. So it's wonderful hearing them, having them be here. I want to share a lesson from the Sacred Headwaters Initiative with all of you. In 1942, the border between Ecuador and Peru was drawn, and it just arbitrarily bifurcated ancestral indigenous territories. Achuar territory, Shuar, Zapara were divided. But because the Sacred Headwaters Initiative is organized geographically around watersheds, as people naturally have for thousands and thousands of years, this initiative is now allowing people who've been separated for 3 generations to come together and connect again. We just had a binational meeting in Peru recently, and the indigenous people who were there kind of universally reported that the Sacred Headwaters Initiative fulfilled prophecies that they remember as children hearing from their grandparents, that one day their lands and people would be reunited again. So the lesson is, if you work with the flow of nature, it's really a good thing. That's what we're doing in the Sacred Headwaters region. So the Sacred Headwaters Initiative is about protecting one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. And it's also a project that's important because it's contributing to addressing global warming. We're protecting standing forests, and we're leaving oil in the ground where it ought to be. But more deeply, the Sacred Headwaters Initiative is about human development and living in harmony with each other and with nature. And the initiative is now being seen as kind of like a Green New Deal for Ecuador and South America. It's green because it addresses an ecological crisis, and it's a New Deal because it's about indigenous-centered development and building a world that's inclusive, just, and equal. It's really a model for the world for building our path to an ecological civilization. So we at Pachamama Alliance, I'm honored and inspired by the trajectory that our project has been on, the work that we started doing, and how it's brought us to where we are now, where we can be so centrally involved in something that's so critical and important for humanity. It's like it gets you up in the morning. So I want to shift now and look at the second part of our work, our transformational educational programs around the world. And if you remember in one of the first videos we heard, we were told that if we really wanted to protect the rainforest, we were going to need to change the dream of the modern world. And that was a daunting mandate, but something we took seriously. And we paid attention, and we learned from the indigenous people and learned from their sacred relationship with the earth. And at some point, we realized that they were putting their lives on the line standing in front of these oil companies, and that they had given up their natural way of living to protect something for all of us. And it was clear then that we saw that we needed to stick our necks out too. And we couldn't play it safe. So in 2005, we launched the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, our first program to wake people up and change the dream of the modern world. And we hit a sweet spot with it. And it's made a huge difference. It had a huge impact. And since then, we've developed additional programs, and they've spread around the world, and they've had a huge impact. And so I'd like to have you learn more about those programs now. Thank you very much.
Around the world, a profound awakening is happening.
The experience I had with Pachamama Alliance in the rainforest absolutely changed my life.
It's changed my life so much. I realized, oh my God, I have found what I've searched for my whole life.
Pachamama Alliance transformational programs are impacting hundreds of thousands of people worldwide.
I was so moved, I could feel my entire body shifted.
It just catalyzed a huge change in my life.
When I brought the Awakening the Dreamer material into my university classroom, it absolutely transformed the students.
The drawdown course has had a really huge impact on my life. It's shifted from this sort of negative, pessimistic place to this place of positivity and empowerment, which just feels like a total sea change.
These programs are sparking game-changing actions.
Awakening the Dreamer filled me with tremendous energy to act.
I took the Game Changer Intensive course in the spring of this year, and it completely changed my life. It was so powerful. Yeah, I'm just really grateful to be a part of this community.
Pachamama has their hand on the pulse of social justice and change, ecological justice and change, and spiritual fulfillment. So I'm fired up.
The Pachamama Alliance is building active local communities.
Our job in Omaha as a community is we plant seeds of hope in as many people as we can in any way we can.
Inspiring a new generation of leaders.
Ever since getting involved with the Pachamama Alliance about 6 months ago, I've become a full-time climate activist.
It's amazing to have such a community that inspires me every day to do the work I do.
Collectively, these programs are inspiring action to change the dream of the modern world.
Please welcome Pachamama Alliance Educational Program Director, Mario Trigueros.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So this changing the dream of the modern world, it's big. And you know, it's really, for me, an exercise in liberation. It's liberating ourselves from this toxic worldview that separates us from each other, from our own deepest wisdom, and from the planet. And so the Pachamama Alliance has developed a suite of programs to really take this on. The Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, the Game Changer Intensive, and Pachamama Alliance communities have reached hundreds of thousands of people really all across the globe. And these dynamic, really interactive programs wake people up. They pierce through apathy and resignation and leave people in a space of possibility. And taken together, they weave in individual transformation with long-term community collaboration and avenues for engaging in systemic change. But the thing that makes them really amazing is that they're actually led by committed volunteers. And they're scattered across the world in over 80 countries, and a good chunk of them are here with us today, either in the room or streaming online. So congratulations to all of you in particular for getting this message out. Our most recent program is the Pachamama Alliance Drawdown Initiative. It is an incredible series of in-person workshops, really inspired by the game-changing work from the folks at Project Drawdown. Now, they found, thank you to Project Drawdown and all the work that they did. They identified the most substantive existing solutions that can actually begin to reverse global warming, not slow down or mitigate, but to actually reverse it. And our Pachamama Alliance Drawdown Initiative has activated thousands of people all across the world to engage in this endeavor. But we're just getting started. So recently, we just released an online drawdown experience. And this really creates tons of possibility for anybody, anywhere with an internet connection, to really engage and be woken up to the possibility of actually reversing global warming. Here's a trailer we're sharing with the world to give you a sense of what it's like. So we are deeply proud of all of these programs. And maybe, like you, we're also really grappling with how quickly the world is changing and really what it all means. So all of this work began from a call channeled from the Achuar in Ecuador. And it really spurred the Pachamama Alliance to commit itself to waking people up from the really trance of consumerism and separation. And that is really the core of our work that will always identify us. And today we find ourselves moved by a new call, embodied by a different group of people, the incredible clarity and courage of the youth climate movement. They're really demanding that we act as if their lives depended on it, because they do. And there's something about the unapologetic clarity that they see around this issue that's actually a bit of a warning to all of us, that history may come to see our moderation as denial or even reckless irresponsibility. But I won't put any more words in their mouth. I'll let them speak for themselves.
The earth is calling us. Future generations are screaming at us.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
We can't fix these existential threats until we fix this democracy. When the people come out to say we the people demand this change, that's when the needle begins to move.
And that fire is rising in the youth. You could feel it. You could feel it in the ground. You can hear it in the trees. You can feel it in the air.
It is time for justice. It is time for truth. Because we are one. Because this is 0 hour. What time is it? 0 hour.
The world is waking up, and change is coming.
And if we don't make that change, then there's no future.
There's no better time to be alive than now. Today, we get to determine the legacy that we are remembered by.
Who is ready to stand up, unite together across generations, and start a revolution that is so loud, so provocative, and so unquestioning that we will be impossible to ignore? Let's make it happen.
These young people did nothing to create this mess. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old here, completely at the mercy of what we choose to do with the time that we have left. And as powerful and as inspiring as they are, this actually isn't the moment to pass the baton. This is our moment. This is our responsibility and our opportunity to spend the rest of the time we have left to create the future we know is possible and is needed, and to do it with our full hearts. And so, given the urgency of what's happening, the Pachamama Alliance is committing itself to mobilizing tens of thousands more people, to scaling in whatever way we need to get them into concrete actions that reverse global warming. We're committed to making those actions clear and accessible with concrete pathways that reverse global warming, that restore local ecosystems, and that build the kinds of alliances that will be necessary to confront the enormity of the issue facing humanity. And some of the possibilities are already showing up in the Pachamama Alliance community. The community in Southwest Florida is working to protect their local river, but not just that. They're actually working to grant it legal rights. A Pachamama Alliance volunteer leader in Kansas City mobilized her community to host an 800-person summit filled with dozens of municipal and state leaders committed to developing a plan to bring climate resilience to their communities. And another interesting domain full of possibility is the domain of food waste. And we were all shocked to learn that food waste is the third most impactful solution that can actually reverse global warming. More than rooftop solar. It was illuminating. And it's something that all of us can engage with, because most US Americans, maybe not everyone, but most US Americans waste almost a pound of food per day. And food waste gets converted into methane, and methane has 25 times the global warming impact that carbon does. And these solutions to reversing global warming don't stop at their environmental impact. They also provide a pathway to engaging in some of the most critical social issues facing us as well. We can confront wealth inequality by generating thousands of new green jobs. We can better address racism by partnering more effectively with communities of color that tend to be the first and the worst impacted by climate change. So young people are asking, future generations are asking, I'm asking all of us to stretch and act in ways that we couldn't imagine were possible. And to know that every single action, however small it feels to you, is not done in isolation. It's done as part of a current, a global commitment of action to actually turn this thing around. But it is an all-hands-on-deck moment. It is a moment for each of us to invoke the fearless heart in us to build the future that we know is possible. Thank you.
Mario is awesome, don't you think? I mean, there's no stopping him, there's no stopping us, and I know there's no stopping you. So I'm going to kind of bring this whole here. The work of Pachamama Alliance, as you know, is very, very comprehensive and whole. We work on the ground in the sacred headwaters of the Amazon rainforest, the source of the whole Amazon system. And out of those lessons, from that place, from those people, we've invented, created transformational educational programs that stretch all the way around this planet, that are both in person and online. We're addressing the very source of the climate crisis and in every way. And when the young people speak as loudly as they do, it's an echo from the indigenous people who gave us the call in the first place. Now it's echoed by these young people, future generations. They're screaming at us, they're calling for us. They're telling us it's time, it's time. We can't moderately do this. We need to take a big, giant leap. And so I'm so grateful that today we have somebody with us who has taken leap after leap after leap, has caused humanity to leap, is one of the leading environmentalists in the world, has written books, has studied and devoted his life to the way commerce impacts the environment. He's an environmentalist, he's an entrepreneur, he's an activist, he was a journalist. He worked with Martin Luther King years ago. He knows about social justice. He knows science inside out. He consults and advises CEOs and heads of nations. And he's here with us today because he's our friend, our colleague, our brother, and we would never do this without him. Please welcome Paul Hawken.
I'm going to keep clapping because I'm the one who's going to give you a standing ovation. I'm standing here, and I want to give those two people backstage, Bill and Lynn, another standing ovation. I'm here because of them, and I'm here because, as I was saying at our table when we went around to introduce ourselves, that this organization has more heart and love than any other organization I know of in the world. And I know a lot of them. I truly do. I have a right to compare. I have a basis to compare. And meeting and being with Pachamama is like coming home, like being home in oneself. I recently read that every day each person has 60 to 80,000 thoughts. You might raise your hand. It's like, yeah, that's me. This is definitely me. And every morning I have RSS feeds on climate and what's happening to the Earth, and 200 different things come in, and I read them in the morning. I never read them at night. And I don't think anybody, including me, understands how serious this situation is. This is not a drill. If you know about this and don't do anything, there's no difference between you and a denier. And what we have to do is impossible. And we have to do that because what is probable is completely unthinkable. Right? And going back to those thoughts, we are not determined by what we believe. We're determined by what we do, by our actions. And it's those actions that will determine the fate of Mayu, who is my child, who I saw backstage. I wish I could bring him on stage, the most beautiful set of eyes, and just a beautiful, beautiful child. You know. And as Mario said, that picture of Kansas City, that little gray speck in the back was me. I went to Kansas City, and it was an organization by Mayor Kelly of Overland Park. There was the lieutenant governor there. There was representatives from 120 municipalities. And the night before, I had been at a very upscale dinner, the establishment of Kansas City, and placemats with my name and the book on it and stuff like that for everybody. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I found out that, in fact, it was created by Pachamama. Right? They were the source of what happened. They went to city council people. They went to mayors. They created what we saw in Kansas City. And for me, traveling around, I see the same thing. Southwest Florida for sure. Chicago for sure. Grand Rapids for sure. Seattle for sure. Doria, wherever you are, just told me there's 10,000 people in China who are involved with Pachamama. Everywhere I go in the world, whether it's Europe or here, I haven't been to Asia for a long time, I see and encounter Pachamama. It is the most effective organization I know of in the world right now in terms of addressing global warming. And it names the goal, which is what Drawdown was about. But I'm not trying to talk about what I'm doing, but I am going to, in the sense that I'm creating a book called Regeneration, in collaboration with Pachamama, and the reading line is Ending the Climate Crisis in One Generation. And what you heard today, and what you saw on the films, and what you heard from the indigenous Ashwar people, is that the only way we can reverse global warming is to absolutely restore and regenerate life on Earth. There is no other way. It is the biosphere, the hydrosphere that creates the climate. It's not us. We can do damage to it, but we can't create it. And if we're going to do this, we have to, I believe, in my heart, listen to indigenous wisdom. It's just there. It's standing there. It knows what place is. It knows where it lives. We do not so well, if at all. And when you know that place, then you know the intricacy and the beauty. And you realize that in indigenous languages, basically the language itself is observational science of place and how to live there and be there in such a way that the children and their children's children can live there as well. And so what we're being called to do is act. And Lynn's going to come out right now and ask you to act. Please do. And remember this, and that is that what I said at the beginning, and that is We might have had time at one time. Moderate action may have made sense. Reduction, net zero, these terms might have made sense at one time. None of them make sense today. None of them make sense. And what we have to do, each one of you, is embody a sense of urgency and agency. You're extraordinary people. You wouldn't be here. You're invited by your table captains. They are extraordinary people. Take that extraordinariness. And again, don't listen to all those thoughts. That'll kill you. I tell you. And don't read all the media about, fighting climate change and the battle and the crusade and tackling all those male war and sports metaphors about it. Get rid of that shit, okay? This is about grace and beauty and honor and respect. This is what we're doing. This is about transformation. This is about loving the world. Please, thank you for loving the world. Thank you for loving this organization.
So now we're at the most important part of our program, and it's all about you. And I want to just point out a couple things. Pachamama works at the source, really powerful. At the source of the sacred headwaters of the Amazon rainforest is the source of the whole Amazon system, which is larger than the United States, which is the source of our climate. We work at the source of apathy. We pierce through resignation and hopelessness, and we generate possibility. You know that. You can feel it in this room. And the young people who are calling for us now won't wait, and they won't let us off the hook. So it's, I'm going to steal a line from Paul Hucken. He said, in many cases, he didn't say today, but I'm going to say it. He says, maybe global warming is not happening to us, it's happening for us. It's happening for us. It's what we need to wake up and take a leap as a human family and evolve, not just increase, and let go of the fairy tale, as Greta Thunberg says, of endless economic growth. It's a fairy tale, and we know it. So I learned this one fact that just blew me away that I think you probably know this, but we in the United States, we subsidize oil. They pay no taxes, big oil companies, almost no taxes at all, I think no taxes, with $26 billion. $26 billion subsidizing big oil that we're trying to get rid of. And 1/1000th of that is spent on natural solutions to global warming. We've got our priorities all wrong with money in this country and in this world. So it's time to reallocate, rethink, relook, regenerate, renew, and relook at and reallocate your attention, your intention, your financial resources, what you think about every single day, what you're doing with your life. Today's the day to take a huge leap. And in order to help you do that, my fundraising sister, who loves asking for money as much as I do, the major gift officer of the Pachamama Alliance, who's worked with me and all of us for 10 years, Sarah Vetter.
Well, I clearly had 60,000 thoughts before this moment. So I'm going to put those away and get to one thought here. It's time to take action. It is an honor to be able to ask. I mean, I do love it. And to be asking all of you here, all of you online, for your financial support, because I know I'm giving you the opportunity to make a difference with your life and with your money. Now, what could be better than that? Some of you, although Lynn, in a 10-mile radius, you know there's going to be a fundraiser, but some people may not know this was a fundraiser. And then and it is, and here, this is the part. And then there are people who maybe have never contributed, been coming here for years, never contributed, never contributed yet until today. So my one thought is I'm going to invite you to join us. To really join us at a level that's right for you, but now go a little deeper. Look inside. What really is yours to do? Are you willing to go beyond that? Go to the next level. It's serious now. It's time to really go to the next level. These times call for us to be more responsible, to be more generous, to respond to the demands of our youth. Respond with our financial resources, with our money. I love that, 0 hour, now o'clock. It's now o'clock. So in a moment, we're going to pass out pledge cards, but I want to tell you the different ways to give. First, I'm going to talk about our sustainable giving. This is multi-year. The times are now urgent. They're timely. It's now, but it's going to take some time. So we're in this for the long haul. So we have sustainable gifts. The first level is our major level. It's called Stewardship Circle, an awesome, amazing group of remarkable people that stand for our mission, stand for this work, and commitment through their financial resources and every other way. That level starts at $5,000, $10,000, goes all the way up to $100,000 and beyond. There are people in this room who actually do that, a lot of people. And there's no maximum. There's a minimum of $5,000, but there's definitely no maximum. Any number of zeros will work, preferably a lot. The next level is called Vision Keeper. That's 1,000 to 5,000. They hold our vision. They hold our commitment. Again, that's another sustainable multi-year level. And then there's our global citizens. I'm just going to ask, raise your hand if you're a global citizen for Pachamama Alliance. Awesome. Global citizen, that's monthly giving, 25, 50, 75, 100, 150 every month. As Lynn talked about, reallocating towards the sustainability of life. Every month you're doing something awesome. It's automatic. And then there's one time. If you're touched, moved, want to write a big fat check or put a credit card in there for a one-time gift, that's fantastic. You can also bundle that with your multi-year. This is, as Mario said, this is all hands on deck. So that means all hands in this room on deck. That means if you already are a financial partner with us, you're so not off the hook. That means your hands are going on that deck. That means this is an opportunity, and it's just like we can't deny it. We got to get into action, as Paul said. This is the time. That means increase. You can increase your already pledge, your multi-year. You can extend a year or two. It's not business as usual. It just really isn't. So now I am going to ask our magnificent table captains to please pass out the pledge cards. And I'm going to walk through the pledge cards. Get your hands ready. Pins are coming around too. Okay, I'm just going to walk through briefly. I know you can read, but if you open your pledge card and you look on the left-hand side, our mission for the Pachamama Alliance, declaring your partnership, contact information. If you could fill that out really legibly, because we want to know who you are and that you are here. And then there are two boxes under contact information. One, if you have a company that can match your contribution, please check that box. And then below that if you're interested in our educational program that we bring into corporations and companies, it's called The Awakener, check that box and we will get right back to you. Okay, and then on the right-hand side, this is the important part. At the top are our sustainable gifts, stewardship circle, which I shared about, 5,000 above, vision keeper, global citizen. Every single person in this room can do global citizens. Wouldn't that be awesome if we had 100% participation? That's what I would love to see happen. And then below that is one-time gifts. And below that is payment information. Put your real credit card number on there and write it really legible so we know with the expiration and the CVV number and any other information you need to get to this. That would be super helpful. So I'm going to give you some quiet time to fill out your pledge cards. Thinking 500, think 1,000. If you're thinking 1,000, think 2,000. I remember filling this card out before when I was a virgin Pacha person, and I checked that box. I got a little sweaty, and then I was like, oh my God, changed my life. Also, once you fill out the box for the multi-year major gift level, there's a spot to say when you'll begin your pledge. Today would be fantastic. 2009, within this year would be also fantastic. Check that box too. Then hand your pledge cards into your table host. But if you're not complete with the zeros, or you're not complete, just take your time. As soon as you complete it, hand it into your table host. Okay, when you're ready, hand your cards in. Thank you. Thank you so much for stepping in, stepping up, and thank you even for those who have not. It's really an honor to be able to grace us with the privilege of being able to ask. So, Lynn.
All right. Thank you, Sarah Vetter, and thank you all. Don't let us interrupt the holy moment of fundraising. So thank you all, and thank you so much for doing such a beautiful job. As I look out at you, can I have your attention, everybody? I remember one of the most beautiful lessons that we've all learned from Indigenous people. And that lesson is, we are 1. Please welcome the Thrive Choir.
No walls between our hearts, no walls between our souls. Where you begin and where I start, who I am and who you are. Oh, we are one. We are one. We are one love. One love without an end. One love, no isolation. Though we seem different, we're more the same. Children of the light that never fade. Whoa, we are one. 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 One love. One love. One love. One love. Oh yeah. One love. One love. One love. One love. We are one. We are one. We are one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. One love. We are one. We are one. We are Thank you.
We got one more song to close us out, and this one's a sing-along. Y'all look like some people who like to sing and dance, so it's gonna be call and response.
Free my mind, free my mind. The self is all of humankind.
Free my mind, free my mind. The self is all of humankind.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Free my heart, free my heart. Let there just be love at the start. Free my heart, free my heart. Let there just be love at the start. Hey, yeah, hey, hey, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Free my body, free my body. The chains is gone, the keys ain't nobody's.
Free my body, free my body. The chains is gone, the keys ain't nobody's.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Free my soul, let go every hold of control.
Free my soul, free my soul. Let go every hold of control.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah,
of control. Free my soul, free my soul. Let go every hold of control. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, Pachamama. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Bring you to the earth. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to the forest. Hey, yeah, yeah,
Thrive Choir. Let's hear for the Thrive Choir, you guys. So you're welcome to stay as long as you like. Coffee and dessert is in the foyer. Sign up for everything. Sign up to go to the rainforest. Sign up to be one on the Pachamama journey. Sign up to be part of the campaign for the Sacred Headwaters. Sign up for everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. This completes our program. Awesome. Oh, that was so fun.
se la han robado 4 coraceros. A ver si puedo rescatarla con 4 rifleros. A mi palomita se la han robado 4 coraceros. A ver si puedo rescatarla con 4 rifleros. Pues así, pues no, picheridica guaybidita. Para fuerza basto yo, guaycanaita. Pues así, pues no, picheridica guaybidita. Para fuerza basto yo, guaycanaita. Chasquita, casquita con su chullahuita, loco tocadita con su quirquinita. Chapatita, pita, cutu, maqueta, que tal gustituta. Chasquita, casquita con su chullahuita, loco tocadita con su quirquinita. Chapatita, pita, cutu, maqueta, que tal gustituta. A mi palomita se la han robado 4 coraceros. A ver si puedo rescatarla con 4 rifleros. A mi palomita se la han robado 4 coraceros. A ver si puedo rescatarla con 4 rifleros. Pues así, pues no, picheridica guaybidita. Para fuerza basto yo, guaycanaita. Pues así, pues no, picheridica guaybidita. Para fuerza basto yo, guaycanaita. Chaquita, casquita con su chillahuita, loco tocanquita con su quiquinita. Chapatita, pita, maqueta, que tal gustituta.